So where shall I start? I guess I'll start with my own journey, what I've known to be true for me. And I remember when I was 16, I looked in the mirror and my other mates, they were getting attention from girls and I wasn't. Didn't know how to speak with girls, was quite an introvert, and I looked in the mirror and I decided I was going to build the perfect male physique. And that was when I was 16, and that started a whole journey of getting into bodybuilding. And good things came out of it. I learned about nutrition and discipline and positive psychology, and I enjoyed 8 years in a gym. Had a great time doing that job, met loads of beautiful people, and that was that stage of my life, and I needed to go through that to learn what I learned from that. But around the age of 26, 27, and I'm 32 now, I'm going to be 32 in a few weeks. During that time, 26, 27, I started to get deeper into Eastern philosophy, spiritual teachings, became more conscious that there was more to me than this flesh and bone body. And I'm going to share with you what I learned through that. It was a difficult transition. A lot of my energy was into eating a typical bodybuilder's diet so that I could reach this perfection, this male perfection, because in my mind I was going to be the most sexiest looking guy I could be so that no girl could ever hurt me. That was my attitude. So that was a huge transition to make, from having all my energy focused on how I looked to bringing more awareness around what's truly important in my life and who I truly am. So around that time I had a calling. I was being called to spend less time thinking about my physique and more time doing things like meditation, eating a more light diet around raw foods, less of the protein powders and all of that stimulant stuff. Half of me was wanting to do that and half of me was pulled the other way because I wanted to keep my six-pack and everything. So I learned a lot from this guy, Nathaniel Branden. He's a well-known author. He's written many books. He's been going since the early 70s. And he's written this book, Self-Esteem and Personal Transformation. And there's another book actually I'm going to share with you. I think I've got it on PDF and I will send you that along with this video. But what I learned from Nathaniel is what I was actually doing was, through getting the perfect physique, what I believed to be the perfect physique, it was a form of pseudo self-esteem. So I was aiming to gain my sense of self, my self-esteem from creating this image. And the image, it can never bring you sustenance, it can never bring you joy. It's very fleeting. Even if you attain the physique that you want, it's very fleeting. It may satisfy you for moments, but it's not something you can hold on to. It's not solid. It isn't real self-esteem because the image isn't you. There is more to you than flesh and bone. I also heard that it's a perishable goal. The body will perish. And I really had to ask myself, how much energy am I putting in to perishable goals? My body's going to perish. and it will be no more. The time will come, whether I accept it now or whether I accept it at the moment of death. I will have to let go of the physical body, and it's better to do it now than to leave it till the moment of death when you realize that you are not the body. So if the body's going to turn to dust, then what are you? These are questions that I've had to ask myself and have a good long look at myself, my inner self, and to ask myself, what am I? And, you know, that took some time to make that transition. Before I did make that transition, I would spend a lot of time checking my appearance in the mirror, checking to see if it was okay. And it was like being in a prison. I'm so much more at ease with myself, knowing that I don't have to look perfect. And I think I've found a little humility, because the world right now, it doesn't need pretty bodies. It needs wisdom. And without getting morbid about the things that are happening right now in the world, but with the starvation and, you know, all those other things that we know are happening right now. And when I think about that, and I think about the amount of energy I put into checking my appearance, I had to really take a good long think about how I was conducting myself. And also forgiving myself. This isn't about shining a torch on our faults. It's not fault finding. It's making a commitment to face reality. Reminds me of the Bob Marley track. We know we've got to face reality now. And facing reality is something deeper. Just me saying that and being aware of that Bob Marley track is more heart-centered, being in your heart, more kind of humble. Regardless of appearance, know that you are a force, whether you believe it or not. You are a force. You can create the belief that you're not a force. You can create the belief that you have to look a certain way in order for a man to admire you. You can create that belief for yourself, and you'll experience a world where men don't like the way you look, but it's all in your head. You are a force. Your body will perish, and you will go on after this life, and you will take what wisdom you gained in this life with you. So lately I've come across this a lot from more than one master teacher, where the student asks the teacher something along the lines of, how do I find my true love? And the teacher replies, go and look into a mirror and you'll find your true love. You are your true love. And it's a case of accepting yourself, forgiving yourself, to love yourself, and then you will attract to you men who will reflect that back at you. And it's as simple as that. If you think that you're not enough and you don't look good enough, you may even attract the right man, but you'll sabotage it. You'll sabotage it to confirm your belief that you're not good enough. So it's a case of doing the work. And the work, what do I mean by doing the work? You know, it comes down to, what are you going to entertain? What are you going to put your energy into? Are you going to wake up and put your energy into how do I look, checking your image every 5 seconds to make sure you look good? Or are you going to catch yourself in the moment? And I know it's scary to let go of that, because we've built our sense of self around how we look. So that's scary to let go of that. But the only thing you're going to discover by letting go is you're going to discover more of yourself. You're going to discover more of your true self. And if you're watching this video and you know deep down inside that it's something that you have to do sooner or later, I know you may not be ready to do it now. And there was a time when I wasn't ready to let go of that image, but I knew I had to sooner or later. I knew I had to. And yeah, it is scary. It is scary, but to catch yourself in the moment, when you catch yourself having those kind of thoughts, to notice, I'm having these thoughts about myself. So rather than saying, so you're in a dialogue, and how you relate to yourself would change. So you wouldn't, if we were having a conversation, you wouldn't say to me, Mike, I feel ugly today. You wouldn't say that. You would say, Mike, I'm having thoughts today that I don't look good enough. So you're making that distinction between you, the real you, and the thoughts that are going on in your head. That would be the first step, is to be honest with yourself. And if you are doing those things, constantly fretting over how you look, constantly checking your fat, how much fat is there, to be honest with yourself and say, oh, I'm choosing to believe that I'm this image, which you know is going to perish anyway. So those were just some of my thoughts. I probably think of more things that I would have wanted to say, but I can't stress this enough. This is you see, this can be exciting, making this transition. Again, it's not fault finding. It's not because in your message to me, you said, or you explained to me what you were feeling, that it was around the fact that you were unhappy with how you looked and you've not attracted a male into your life. And then you said, it's a bit stupid, I know, it's a bit childish, I know. It's just what is. It's where we are. We're all where we're at is where we're at. It's not a case of saying, oh, you're not spiritually evolved enough, and why are you thinking about what you look why are you thinking about what you look like so much? It's not that. It's noticing where we are and finding our own truth, and knowing that we're empowered to change. You can't change what you don't own, so you have to be able to see what it is you're doing. Okay, so be easy on yourself. Don't watch this video and think, oh, I'm so stupid for fretting about how I look. The whole world is doing it. I've done it. Loads of people are doing it right now, because we're fed this image by the media and the magazines. But we can deprogram ourselves, and we can change. And we can be in the moment and not be led astray by the inner chatter in the head. Chatter, 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 chatter. All this chatter about what happened in the past and what may happen in the future. And that's what causes a lot of the tension. Hope you got something from that. I'm going to leave it there. And catch you later. Peace.